says, hey, 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 how does that song go? And she turns it up on the radio, and she's gonna be a superstar tonight. She's got diamonds and bling and things that make her sing. She's got a number 4 dress size, self-esteem, and she knows a whole lot about almost everything. She's a regular high school beauty queen, and all she wants is love, and all she wants is love.
Welcome back. We're back from the holidays. Got the binding done over the holidays. We're going to show you that. What you previously saw there was, again, the L, which was made out of maple, and the J and the P, which are his initials, by request in the back of the headstock. So also put some trim, and I did forget to film that, so that was just a little bit of like binding, really just purfling that I put around the headstock. So that's been sanded, scraped, flush, and looks pretty good. I'm going to set aside the neck now for a little bit, and we'll move on to this binding, and I'll take you through that process, which is using a Dremel tool on the top and on the back. The back's a little bit tricky, and you'll see I use a tool I got from Stu Mac, and eventually I'd like to get a better tool when money affords it, but and that allows you to get as close as you can to the edge. If you know the back is arched, and makes it a little bit tougher to keep that even keel all the way around when you're doing the binding. So
I always practice before I actually cut the guitar. Use just a piece of scrap wood, make sure that my purfling and my binding are going to fit. Once you get that right, then you move over to the guitar and you can start cutting. I start with the top here. There's definitely a certain pattern you want to use. As far as the direction my Dremel tool is turning, and the direction of the grain, or what the tear out is going to look like. So I hit the, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 strategic spots, and then you move on and do the whole thing in the other direction. I believe Stu Mac, stu-mac.com, actually has a diagram of the proper way to do this. I don't have the fancy graphics to do that, but there you can see the ledge for the purfling, as well as the binding. And back to, a few months ago now, we bent the binding in my side bender. It comes out looking pretty good. I taped it together to keep it as straight as I could. And that's just been sitting in a mold actually these last few months. Here I'm adding the glue. No real tricks there, except you do kind of want to work a little bit fast. Glue will start to dry if you wait just too long. So I'm slowly getting that in there using tape to tape it down, and want to make sure there's no gaps. I may end up with a couple of gaps here and there between the rosewood and the binding, but you want to minimize that. Now we're on to the back. This is, like I said, where it gets a little bit tricky because the back is curved. So that can be a little bit of a trick as the curve gets greater or less as you go around the back of the guitar. And here we are testing it, making sure that everything looks good, and I want to see a good flush line up by the back wedge. I like to take off, this is before I do any of my binding, I take off that corner, just in case that leaves it sitting a bit proud, if that makes any sense. I'm also using these lines to align it, because I'm cutting each end of the binding, and you want it to line up exactly the way you dry fit it. And once all the binding is on, you're going to take a scraper. The binding is a little bit proud, which is good, that's the way I like it, but not too much. Scrape that off. I sand it. I think I'm using a 220 grit here, or maybe starting with a 150 up to 220. And getting all the scratches out. If you have a little bit of naphtha, you can use that to make sure the scratches are gone. And basically we're prepping it for the sealer and then the finish. There's the tape. That's the way I cover the sound hole before I finish it. Kind of backwards, but that's just the way I've started doing it. It kind of works out for me. Using the same hole for the pickup jack, I place this bolt in there, and that's the way I hang it when I finish it for the majority of the finishing process. So join us next time for the finishing of Jim's guitar.
Out the door, give and give, and then I give a little more. I'm kicking like a chicken on a cutting board, running in a dream last night. Woke up, no, the dream was real. Handed me a letter, so I bargained for a deal. And I broke out the mattress from the dresser drawer with cotton balls stitched by the hand for Lord. And let's stop messing around. It's time we just settle down. You want a better man, a little more grown up? Well, I've got just the thing for us. I've got my blue pajamas wrapped around my legs. I've got my blue pajamas, and they're begging you to stay and take me down to the old uptown man.